It's really about telling the truth, just telling the truth. Somehow, as children, we learn to lie, because that's survival. So we're sweet when we're not really sweet, and feed me, we're loving, and we don't feel like that. But we learn that, and the same way we learn how to please. But it doesn't work anyway, finally. Hi.
Hi.
I've been
How are
watching you. You've been full of fire and light.
I wanted to report my experience on the plane here. I'm coming from Dallas. And I actually went into despair on the plane here. And it was kind of like, I can't stand to be on this plane one more minute. It has to end right now. I can't. I just had a person right here and a person right here, and the bathroom right there, and so I said, oh, well, I'm on the way to Gangaji. Maybe I should go into despair. And it was not there, like we said. Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah.
This is how you know you've gone into despair.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I thought, I can be on this plane forever if I have to. But I couldn't believe I was thinking that. And then the craziest thing is the pilot came on that minute and said, prepare for landing. This is coming to an end. And I thought, this is the craziest world. I can't understand.
Yeah.
It's
this play of Leela. But you so fully used what was present to inquire.
I still, have a new job, and it's little kids, and sometimes I think I shouldn't be bossing them around. I shouldn't be telling them, because I want to be like they are in a lot of ways, and how they are.
How old are they?
Elementary, so they're 6, 7, 8. But I just find myself sit down right now, and do what I say, because I'm told that I have to.
It's an edge, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really.
I taught school for a while, older kids, but still they were bad kids. They were everywhere, all over the room. I was a new teacher, so they gave me a bunch of them. And I saw this meanness actually come out in me, which was the way my grandmother and my mother had dealt with my rambunctiousness. And I realized, and I failed a lot in that, but I realized the edge between discipline and clarity and firmness and meanness and threat and scaring them. And that didn't work anyway. They weren't scared of me. And so I just would get louder and louder. Because it can be a very stressful situation. It's a lot of energy.
Yes.
But there is within you that capacity to actually be this disciplining force, which all of us need to discover and incorporate. Or otherwise, we think that we're happy when we're just doing whatever we want to do. But that's not happiness. You try that for a day. You're just going from one desire to another, and it's exhausting and not fulfilling. But really, this discipline, this learning, sit down, be still, stop talking. If that's infused with what you have discovered, and it must be, because you discovered this in lots of ways in the latest one on the plane, then you are transmitting something precious to them. Discipline is necessary. We are animals, and we have been disciplined enough that we aren't just raging. I mean, a lot of places on the planet are raging in an animal-like fashion. But right now, in this room, and potentially in your classroom, there can be something better that comes from this human animal nature.
Well, I feel like they can tell when I'm
Yeah, they can.
have, I'll say, sit down right now, and I'll have inside of me,
Yeah,
I don't,
they got you then.
I'm not going to worry about whether you sit down or,
Yeah, they got you. They got your number.
Yeah.
Just as we've all had the number of our parents, and usually we silently rebel or we openly rebel. And that's the edge, and what a position you're in. But you're young, you're strong, and you have this willingness to tell the truth. Yeah, so I say it's perfect. It's a great teaching for you and for them.
Thank you.
It doesn't mean it's easy.
No.
I really think, next to parenthood, teaching is the hardest job on the planet. That's why it's so underpaid. That's the way our society works.
And I've always felt like I had more to teach, but I'm trying to realize that a 7-year-old, I can teach a 7-year-old. I mean, that wasn't what I had hoped.
Wow, what an opportunity. Wow. How long have you been teaching?
The second year full time.
Okay, great. There is so much waiting. and I mean in the best sense. There's so much waiting. And I think initially you see the hardness of it, what you thought was going to happen, and then as the initiation phase finishes, you see openings and possibilities in particular students, and you see reflections of yourself, your own mind. I'm
Thank
glad
you.
to know you're there.
Thank you. I've got a picture of you, and I'm going to put it on my desk.
Thank you.
You can't see it. I'm going to say, is this something I can be with, Gangaji?
Yes, yeah, you see what I say. Okay. Oh,
Thank you.
so glad you're here. What's your name?
Thomas.
Thomas. I mean, really, parenthood teaching often just becomes imposing our will. And we know that because that's the way we were raised and taught. And we know, you fight it, and maybe you surrender or maybe you rebel. But there is another way. There's certain rules in our meetings. Certainly in the bigger meetings, I know if you're not here when we're sitting in silence, you don't come in until that's finished. And if you were standing up and being disrespectful, I'd say you have to leave. And certain times we have silent retreats and we don't allow conversational speaking. So there are rules everywhere. And there are rules that try to suppress you, and there are rules that are structures for your inquiry, for your support, for your discovering the taming of the wild beast of the mind. So it's not the rules that are the issue. It's where the rules are coming from, and it's how you're meeting them. Because as a teacher, or as a parent, or as a worker, or as an executive, whatever, there's certain rules. Those are part of the roles. But what are they about? What are they made of? What's free of them? I remember when I was teaching, and it was really a wild bunch. This was in Memphis, Tennessee in 1967. And it was the year Martin Luther King was killed. And I was in a class that for the first time in Memphis history had been integrated with black and white students. And so they were poor white students and streetwise black students. They were in the 7th grade, and there were 40 of them. And it was like, I was coming in to teach. I'm right out of college. I'm going to teach them, these young children, these flowers, and they just like, whoa. So as I said, I had to recognize what I was doing and how I was repeating old patterns of how I was taught, and so that had to stop. But it was really only toward the end of the year that there was some rhythm that happened with us, and they taught me to dance that year. We had one period where they said, "Okay, Ms. Werner, we're going to teach you how to dance." And they did. And it was a great year. And some of them were brilliant. And some of them turned their back, and I don't know what happened to them. Maybe they got it someplace else. Maybe they ended up in the gutter. I have no idea. But I know I recognized that I couldn't do it the way it was done to me, and I couldn't do it the way I thought it should be done. I had to discover something else, and they had to be a part of that discovery. And that's the same with parents, and that's the same with workers, and that's the same with relationships of all kinds. And there's a willingness to discover. And there's a willingness to participate.